in our 18-minute session of spiritual workout, what is it that you want to focus on and what questions do you have? How can I be of service? Where shall we begin?
Oh, I don't know where I should have started.
Well, I noticed in the note that you left to set this up, you said something about your dreams. Is that still
Yes,
where we are, more or less?
yes. It's around, I think, 3 years that I'm working on myself
Mm-hmm.
um, through this spiritual works, like doing yoga, saying positive affirmations at day, at nights.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, do something, for example, meditations like Dr. Chopra's meditation. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Um, the other meditation from the other guys on Instagram, like this. Sometimes I feel good, joy. I feel gratitude. I'm really in a high vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I go to the down, and then my mind says, for example, it doesn't work because my outer reality, my outer world hasn't changed yet, and I don't improve in my work. I couldn't find my soulmate. I really have, for example, find a good girl for continuing my life with her, but I didn't find anyone, um, and I couldn't reach to the my goals. I don't know what the problem is, but I continue. I'm continuing, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it should have a one secret. It should have a one. I don't know, one secret things that I don't know.
I
And I did everything. I did everything, and I know everything from it. I sometimes I find some books from Eckhart Tolle, The Power of the Present Moment, the for the seven laws of a spiritual of success from Deepak Chopra. And I did everything. I
mm-hmm.
focused my myself, and I did everything. But in inner, my inner reality, it has changed. For example, I feel really better
Mm-hmm.
in comparison, for example, with 4 years ago or 5 years ago. But my outer reality hasn't changed. I don't know why.
Yeah. Okay. So, first of all, thank you for that. Second of all, I'm nodding my head in recognition on a very personal level of what it's like to kind of do all this work, to really feel like things are starting to change and should be changing, and yet not seeing much of anything on the outside changing yet. So I can relate to that personally, and I can relate to it professionally because I promise you that virtually everybody that makes their way into spiritual workout world and looking at life and working through our things in the way that we do it here um, often talks in very similar terms. So, does the notion of gas pedal brake feel like it resonates with you? In other words, you kind of get your foot on the gas, you're going in a good rhythm, things seem to be okay, and then you notice one way or another somehow the other foot is sort of almost like on the brake at the same time. Do you find yourself in that situation? Is that a good way to think about it?
You mean sometimes I, for example, do these things, and sometimes I give up.
Or sometimes yes, sometimes that, or you're doing them, you're moving forward, and then all of a sudden you realize you're not moving forward so much. You said it earlier, I think. It's like something in your mind doesn't quite
Yes.
connect. So tell me a little bit about that part.
Sometimes it says that, for example, you're not doing the good things. You should go out and forget these things and should go out and try, for example, try more. Uh, but I tried so too much, but I didn't see any result.
Mhm.
Uh, it says that, for example, you should just focus on your work and try, for example, effort more and more. These things, spiritual, for example, stuff that relates to the other world. If you want to have more money, more good good life, you should go out and just try. I know that it lies because uh, I tried too much, but I didn't see any result. I should focus on myself, on my inner reality. I know it, but and sometimes I tell myself that I should let go of any intention, any goal, any dreams, and just be with this moment.
Because,
Because I didn't see anything.
right. Okay. So something in the range of it hasn't happened yet, it's not working, I'm not doing it right,
Yes,
things like that. Okay.
yes,
So to me, those thoughts and ideas are very rational. They make sense that those of us who have taken the time and the energy to invest in ourselves, to invest in yoga and meditation and being clear about our intentions and all that. And then we see, well, wait, I'm doing all this work. I'm doing the right things. I've read the books. I'm done, and nothing, it's not working yet, right? It's not happening yet. It should have happened by now. So that's what I was getting at with sort of the foot on the gas and the foot on the brake. And what happens is, while it's certainly normal, reasonable, rational to have ideas like that, it's not working, I must be doing something wrong, maybe it works for everyone else and not for me, all that stuff, that is sort of our foot on the brake energetically. Because even if we have set, let's say, an intention for something that we want to be or do or have a happy life, a fulfilling relationship, uh, meaningful work, whatever these things are, that when we invest some energy in that and then don't see them happening, we want to give up or we
yeah,
question what's going on. So what I find is the case is that for those of us who are in that situation where we sort of have good days and bad days, um, like you said before, you get to that place where you're really in a high vibration place and you have joy and gratitude, right? And then all of a sudden you don't.
yes.
So what I'm so
Because I didn't see anything in my outer reality.
Right. So here's what happens. So we make that mean something. Well, I don't have the job yet. I don't have the relationship yet. Nothing seems to be working. So those are actually beliefs, right? So beliefs matter because they create experience. So it doesn't matter how much I want to be a millionaire, typical American, right? Uh, what if I don't believe it's possible, it doesn't matter how good I am at imagining and aligning with that desire if underneath it I have a belief that it's not going to work for me? Those things don't happen to me. Those things don't happen to my family, right? That kind of stuff. So we go up and down and back and forth and gas and brake kind of all the time. What we do here in spiritual workout world is we learn to keep our foot on the gas of where we want to go. The ideal job, the ideal relationship, the ideal living situation, whatever it is that we're wanting, right? We learn here because of this little thing called the law of attraction. I know you've heard of that, right? It's
Yes.
always on, which is the way we talk about it here. So it makes perfect sense to always be very clear about all of those things that we're wanting. And again, what we do here is we learn that to keep our foot on the gas of those things all the time. And when we notice our other foot on the brake, when we notice that our vibration has gone down, when we notice that we're thinking in our mind things that are not helpful, instead of giving up, because that's a natural, reasonable thing to do too, but that's just too bad. Instead of giving up, what we learn to do here is keep our foot on the gas of what we want and get our other foot off the brake on those days that we notice that the other foot is on the brake. So when you fall into that moment and you're entertaining that idea, I've done everything, this isn't working. Then we take that idea, this isn't working, or this isn't working for me, or it should have happened by now. All of those things we get first very clear. We're being general here, but we'll get very specific for you on what those actual beliefs are, your kind of foot on the brake, if you will. And then keeping those other intentions shiny and clear all the time, let's take our other foot on the brake. And we have different ways to do that. The most effective tool that we use, that I'm using these days and have been for the last 10 or 12 years, is EFT tapping. Are you familiar with that at all? Have you ever seen it? So it would say, so even though I'm not believing right now that my own dreams can or will come true, I love and accept myself completely. And there's a bit of a process. And we talk about it and tap about it. And then after a few minutes, we realize, oh, well, yeah, that seemed true a few minutes ago. It doesn't seem so true anymore. And we're able to continually practice realigning with our intention by getting rid of those old, not even old, but those non-serving thoughts and ideas that we're having about what's happening. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Because we always are going to have a choice. One choice is, let's say we're in that start, stop, gas, brake, up, down, good days, bad days, right? I mean, one choice is forget it. I don't want it that much, and we walk away. Now, if you don't want something, you don't want it, who cares? But if you want it and you're walking away just because you can't quite find a way to see how it's going to happen, then that's where we can do a lot of really good work. The other thing that happens in that situation is somebody just says, it's too hard. I don't want it. I just don't even want to do this anymore. And it's different if you just don't want the thing. I changed my mind. I don't want a house in the country. I want to move to the city. Fine, no problem. But if you really want the house in the country and you just can't find a way to get to it or see how it's going to happen, and then you give up for that reason, that I think is too bad, because the idea here is the law of attraction is always on. Every single one of us human beings, regardless of who we are, where we come from, or where we are on the planet, we're always thinking something. We're always feeling something. That all adds up to a certain vibration, and then we attract more of that in. So the fact that you or me or any of us can be in this space of, well, I've read these books, I've gone to these workshops, I've done this work, I've really changed so much and I can really feel it, and yet, but all these other things aren't happening. The fact that you or me or any of us can be in that situation is average normal. the next piece is, okay, what do I do if I don't want to give up? Because when you give up, then what have you got? You just got to start over with something anyway. And chances are those same dreams, those same desires are going to bubble right back up. So again, what we really do here is get super clear about what we're wanting to be, do, or have. That has everything to do with intentions. We have a specific, I don't want to sell here, but we have a specific, it's such an important thing that we run a clinic every week just on helping people to clarify and get really clear about their intentions. And then when we notice those beliefs we have, beliefs matter, that are impediments to that, we just take them one at a time. And we can change, any belief we have can be transmuted and transformed from essentially I can't to I can. Everything's possible.
Yes.
If we believe it. And
Yes.
some days we believe it's possible, and then the next day we don't. So we keep doing that. And then at some point you realize, wow, it's been 3 months and my foot really hasn't been on the brake at all. That's sort of where this goes. Am I making sense to you?
Yes, yes, it was good. I sometimes I'm confused between doing and being. My mind says that just, for example, you should go there and do. And by being yourself doesn't help you. Sometimes my inner voice says, by you're doing, nothing going to happen. You should just be. I'm confused between being and doing, being and doing.
Okay, very good. So we just have 1 minute left. So I'm just going to riff on that answer. Then we're going to bring this to a close, and then hopefully you and I will talk a little bit more. But that is another component of what we do, and it's an excellent point. How am I supposed to be present? Eckhart Tolle and everything, I'm supposed to be present, and yet everything I want is for the future. So we really learn to do that dance between being here in the present moment, tending to what arises. What arises for human beings, and different people believe different things. I believe that we have natural desires. I want to be happy. I want to live comfortably. I want to have work that's meaningful. If that's coming from the heart, and it is, then the dance we do is we imagine all that in the ideal way that we want it to be, in the here and now, in the present moment. So we're here, we're not attaching to anything, but we're clear about what we want. We're investing some time and energy in that while also being present.
Yes.
So that's sort of a head exploder, and there's way more to say about that. But I'm going to leave it here for now and hope that you and I will continue to talk about this, because you brought up some really excellent points. Does that sound okay to you?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
I will see you again, and thanks for doing this with us.
Thanks for everything.
You're welcome.
It was really good.